Because I see so many people debating this, I decided to make a video to explain it a little better and present all the facts that prove 11 is still alive. First things first, Stranger Things is set in the 1980s and clearly takes inspiration in style and themes from shows that aired during that time period. All of them have one main thing in common. No important character dies in the end. The heroes always win, no matter how dire the situation looks. Also, Stranger Things is known to be a show that is reluctant to kill off its main characters. Hopper was brought back to life at the beginning of Season 4, and Max was brought back to life at the end of the season. In this season, we could even see that Ted and Sullivan are alive. Ted was eviscerated by a Demogorgon, and Sullivan was literally burned to death. Yet both characters were brought back to life. I don't know about you, but to me it would feel kind of odd to see the Duffer Brothers kill 11 while making sure Sullivan survives. But maybe you're not convinced by this alone, so here is all the evidence that proves 11 is alive. The biggest tell is the fact that we literally see her near Mike when they return from the Upside Down and the truck tire goes flat. A soldier even tells Dr. K, "She was right here 1 second ago, down by the truck." There is no way 11 could travel that distance in such a short amount of time without anyone noticing her. She has telekinetic powers, not super speed. Also, 4 hedgehogs were pointed toward the truck. Throughout the whole season, we saw that both 11 and Kalie could barely move when just 1 hedgehog was activated. Now imagine 4. 11 could barely move. And you believe she somehow ran toward that gate so fast without anyone seeing her? But if Kalie had cast an illusion on her to make her invisible, then she could have crawled, while in pain, toward a safe place. And this is exactly what we see happening when Mike explains that 11 is alive. Right here on the back of the truck is 11. Make no mistake, this is the real person, not an illusion, because we can see Mike holding her. So this is a fact. 11 passed through that gate inside the truck. She did not remain in the Upside Down. This is the first and biggest clue that 11 is alive, and that the 11 we saw afterward was an illusion created by Kalie. The second most important tell is her discussion with Mike in the Void. Throughout all 5 seasons, we saw that 11 couldn't simply enter the Void. She needed specific conditions. She had to be at least blindfolded. Depending on how many of those conditions were met, the stronger her Void capabilities became. We saw that she was strongest inside the isolation tank and weakest when she was only blindfolded. No matter her power level, one thing is clear. In order to enter the Void, she needed to be blindfolded. Yet here we see her standing still, without any of those conditions met. Another important thing about 11's Void is that she always gets a nosebleed after using this power. Yet in the next shot, when we see the soldiers pulling Mike back and the camera shifts to 11, there is no nosebleed. Again, this is proof that this wasn't the real 11, because in order to access the Void, she should have been blindfolded. We have 5 seasons of proof of this. The Duffer Brothers wouldn't make a mistake like this or suddenly give 11 a brand new power in the final moments. 11 escaped the military, crawled into the tunnels, blindfolded herself once she arrived there, and only then was she able to reach Mike in the Void. The third clue that 11 was an illusion is that we see in the background the wall being destroyed and the vacuum pulling everything from the Upside Down. In Volume 2, when Nancy shot the exotic matter and created a tiny breach in the wall, everything around it was pulled in. 11 had to use her powers just to resist being sucked in. Yet here, she is standing perfectly still, while everything around her is being pulled into the vacuum. If this were 11's real body, she would have needed to use her powers to resist, but she doesn't. She's just standing there. The fourth clue is that in the final moment, when we get a shot of 11 raising her hand, we don't see her number tattoo on her forearm. This scene was edited this way because Millie Bobby Brown has that tattoo in real life as well. The Duffer Brothers wouldn't have gone through so much trouble to hide that tattoo if it didn't have a deeper meaning. And that deeper meaning is that the 11 we saw was only an illusion created by Kalie. An illusion she couldn't perfectly replicate, either because she was too far away or because she was mortally wounded and couldn't maintain it. I would also say that 11's hand flickering is proof that this was only an illusion. Even though many people claim we only saw the flickering in Mike's version, and that he imagined it to support his theory, I still believe it's proof that 11 is alive. First of all, how would Mike even know about the flickering? I think he and 11 had far more important things to discuss than dissecting Kalie's powers. Another tell that this was a fake-out death is the background song chosen for the scene. The song used was Heroes by David Bowie. This song has been used twice before in the show. The first time when they rescued Will's fake body from the water, and the second time during Hopper's fake-out death. As we can see, this is the Duffer Brothers' favorite song choice when they want to pull off a fake-out death. The only weak point, if you can even call it that, in this theory is Kalie being alive for such a long time. But here's the thing. My very first reaction when I saw Kalie get shot was to immediately think it was an illusion. If Kalie had truly been shot, all that slow-motion buildup would have meant nothing because the outcome would have been the same. She would have been dead. Another strong indicator that Kalie faked her death is how the scene was shot. We see Hopper go to get bandages and the camera follows him, leaving Kalie and Eleven alone in the room. Wouldn't it have made more sense to focus on Kalie's final moments? I believe that camera movement was intentional. After Hopper left, Kalie admitted she had faked the gunshot, and she and Eleven planned how to escape the military once Eleven returned to the real world. Even if the wound had been mortal, Kalie wouldn't necessarily have died instantly. There are many proven cases where people survived for long periods of time after being shot, especially if no major organs were hit. And do you honestly expect Stranger Things to follow strict logic? We literally see characters teleport to the top of a cliff. Making Kalie survive long enough to create that illusion doesn't sound far-fetched at all. Also, the dialogue between Kalie and Eleven hides details about their plan. Kalie says, "This was always going to be my story, but it doesn't have to be yours." Don't you find that odd? Kalie had always believed that both of them needed to sacrifice themselves to stop the program. So this line only makes sense if she had a change of heart and decided to use her powers to help Eleven escape. This was the whole purpose of bringing Kalie back. If she wasn't meant to help Eleven survive, then her entire character would make no sense. Why bring her back just to kill her 4 episodes later? From a storytelling perspective, it doesn't work. She needed to serve a purpose, and that purpose was to ensure Eleven survives and to trick the military with an illusion showing Eleven's death. I don't know if I should categorize this as a clue or not, but I said I would give you all the insight into why Eleven is alive. Considering the attention to detail the production team puts into the show's audio, I don't believe this was random. After the scene with Mike crying, as the screen fades to black, we can hear a heartbeat. That feels far too intentional to be meaningless. The Duffer Brothers have always loved fake-out deaths, and Stranger Things has shown us time and time again that if a character's death feels off, it usually is. And in this case, there are simply too many details pointing in one direction. Eleven survived. You don't have to agree with this theory, but I truly believe the evidence is there if you look closely enough. And knowing this show, I don't think the story of Eleven ends like this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you believe Eleven is alive? Or do you think this was truly the end?